Hey guys, so today I'm going to share with you all how I make highlighting and contouring just a part of my routine. It's nothing that you need to feel intimidated by or think like, oh my gosh, it's something that's super, time consuming or crazy. It's something you can just sort of roll into your makeup routine just like you would bronzer or blush or anything like that, and it's just so easy. And I don't really prefer to use a kit or a palette, something like this every day. You can certainly do this and it's fine, but I just like to make my products sort of do double. I know I've done a lot of tutorials on this in the past. You've probably seen a ton of these on YouTube, but I think that I'm at a point where I really like what I'm using. It's what I've been doing for a very long time, and including like the tools and stuff that I'm using, and it just works great for me. And I think that it's something that hopefully you guys will all see isn't so intimidating to do. It can be done so quickly. But you can see, like, I like to use a bronzer for contouring. And it's the same tones as some of these that you would use. So, it's all the same. Don't be thrown by using a bronzer or, think outside the box, and it's the same freaking color. Like, you can use it for that. But I sort of combine it. But definitely I do get sort of a contoured effect that I don't think is too over the top. I think you can go really overboard and dramatic with contour, but it looks, to me, can look very fake. So I think I'm at a good happy medium where I really like the way that it looks. It makes your makeup look more done. It keeps your face from looking so flat. You're essentially just giving your face dimension when you say highlighting and contouring. You're adding some dark colors to certain areas of the face. You're adding lighter colors to other areas. And it really, when you have like problematic skin too as well, it really kind of hides like issues, and it just makes your skin look better. So I'm going to share with you what I've been doing lately and what I have really been loving. I'm going to be explaining, and I didn't make it a point to make this video super quick. I just wanted to be thorough and explain to you the process. But really, this takes like literally like a minute, 2 minutes, just however long it would take you to do your bronzer, or just to sweep on something super quickly. And then from making products like do double, like your concealer, making that sort of double as like a highlight, I will share with you everything. So if you want to see how I do this and turn it into something that is not fussy and something that really makes a big difference in my makeup, then keep watching. So for the sake of the whole like final look being like done looking, I went ahead and did my eyeshadow and everything, but I totally left out all the steps that I would do for contouring and highlighting, obviously, because I'm going to show you. So the whole contouring, whatever you want to call it, always begins with my under eye concealer. Lately I've really been loving the Radiant Creamy Concealer by NARS in Vanilla. And what I do is I usually do this before my eye makeup, but for the sake of showing you, I'm doing it like this. It looks like I'm applying a lot, but it's not. But I'll kind of pull it down. And I haven't applied my setting powder for my face yet. The foundation I use really doesn't like require one, but So I pull it down just a little bit and start blending just by patting with a brush. And this is F86, which is my favorite one for doing this. So you can see it sort of lights up that whole area. And again, I would generally do this before my under eye my makeup, my eye makeup, just so that I don't accidentally get any of the dark pulled down or anything like that. You can also use the MAC Prep and Prime Radiant Rose pen, which I used for years for doing this, and it works great as well. But this one's a little more color correcting, and it does generally the same thing. So maybe you can see that lit things up just a little bit. And then I take the same thing, and you can just sort of go down the center of your nose. You don't have to do this. I usually skip the whole contouring my nose thing, but you can do it really quick. It's just not a big deal. It'll help if you put anything down the center of your nose. It'll help it sort of adhere. Before I apply my setting powder for my foundation and stuff, I'll use whatever I'm going to use, just sort of lighten this area. And I don't want to use anything that has a harsh shimmer to it. Lately I've been using this Balsame Violet Brightening Powder, and I have really been enjoying it. In the past I've used the Hourglass Ethereal Light. This is a great option as well. It has a bit of a sheen to it, but nothing that's gonna like emphasize lines or anything. But I use this powder and a little F34 brush. It's just very, very subtle, but it sort of adheres to that concealer without making it look cakey, and it really brightens that whole area. So I don't get it way up under my eyes. I just sort of sweep it down like that, and then right there on my cheekbones, you can put a little bit down the center of your nose. At this point, I use my F25 brush, and I use my setting powder, which is the MAC Light Plus, what's it called, the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. It's very light and feathery. Now before you really highlight and contour, I feel like it really emphasizes like the imperfections on your skin as well, because I've definitely had issues with my skin during my pregnancy, as I've told you guys, but it's going away, but you still have some of those like uneven little pores and just things that kind of just are just bleh. So I find that when I contour and stuff, it takes away that whole flatness like of your face that really emphasizes all those things, and it's just sort of like magic. I really think that's cool. So there's a couple of different brushes you can use. I prefer when I contour, when I add the darker color, I like to use a brush that is fluffy, not one that's too small and precise, because then it just is a lot of work. You have to blend so much. But I like to use one that's fluffy, so like a brush you could use for bronzer, but then one that's also pretty dense that will blend as well. This number 2 Chanel brush is kind of hard to find, but one that is very, very similar is the MAC 134. You can see it's basically the same thing, it just isn't angled. But it is that same sort of, you know, and years back, this was the brush that I used for doing the same process. Sigma does make a similar version, but I find that theirs flares out like a big powder brush, while this one is more precise where you can contour with. So if you can't find the Chanel one or you don't have it, then the MAC 134 would be what I would recommend. You can use whatever you want, but I like to use bronzer because, again, this is just like sort of an easy thing. Of course I'm talking and everything, but this is just such an easy thing that I do every day. So I get some on the brush, I touch it where I would normally contour, where you'd get the most color, blend it back and forth there, and then I sort of just act like I'm bronzing my face and just blend it out everywhere where I would want to bronze. So I kind of take it down there, but you see the most color still there. You can take it kind of up the side of your nose. And you're not using a whole ton of it, so it's not gonna like mess up anything that you did with your highlight. So again, touch the most there. And then after you kind of blend that back and forth a couple times, whatever's left on the brush, and then this as well, you can just sort of like blend it out. So that not only warms up your skin, but it's also like created a nice shadow that looks natural. Now, I don't like to go in too far right there. I find that sometimes if I accidentally do, it just looks shadowy. It's just not where you really want the shadow. So I just always just go like in a straight line, and then I just sort of stop it, just sort of fading it out as it goes down. Then I go up my temple, sort of connecting that color. And I like to put the most right here where the arch of my brow kind of goes up to my hairline. That's where the most goes. So I kind of touch it there first, and then sort of go up my temple to connect the color. And then right in the middle of your forehead, on the top, you don't want to put it right here because that's a high plane of your face that you don't want to really put the dark color on. You can just sort of sweep a very thin line right there. So now you've got like this nice, like smooth, blended, your face has a little bit of warmth to it. You can go back with that same brush, or you can use a smaller brush if you want to get really precise, but you can go back and add just a little more if you want a more contoured effect, and just touch it really close to your hairline this time. And instead of blending all over your face, you're just gonna sort of blend it in that one little area. And then whatever's left on the brush, I sort of take and smooth it sort of along the jawline. I don't like to contour a lot right there, but it just sort of helps everything, helps the color sort of even out everywhere. Now if you want to contour your nose, I sometimes will just take this and sort of pinch it and just be real quick, but it can go really bad really fast. So I like these little precision brushes. This is a P84 by Sigma. I just take that same color and I do this probably like literally 5% of the time I do my makeup. I never contour my nose really, but you can see how just simple and quick it is. It's not a big deal. And it's not a huge difference or anything, but you can certainly take whatever brightening powder that you used, whether it's something like this or like I said, the Ethereal Light. These two are just very neck and neck for me. I just love both of them. I like to sort of take whatever powder I used and you can sort of sweep it a little bit on your forehead right here, right up from your eyebrows, not too high. Little down the center of your nose. You can even sort of like go in this area where your smile lines are, but that's getting a little fancy. And like you saw, I just like to keep it simple with the bronzer and not go super crazy. If you want a little bit of a sheen, which sometimes I do, you can take the Laura Mercier highlight powder, the Matte Radiance Baked Powder. It's not matte, it definitely has some sheen to it, but it's not shimmery. And I just do that sort of last and put it right there where my contour meets the brightening. And it just gives your skin a little more, even more dimension. That's my favorite one. It's just so pretty. Put a little down the center of your nose. I just like to use my finger for that. So very simple, nothing crazy. So that's a big difference, I think. I think that looks like a huge difference. And then I would do my blush last. I always do the blush last. And I'm using the Bare Minerals Ready in the 1 and a F10 blush brush. Now I don't go up super high with my blush. I literally just put it on the apples of my cheeks and just sort of dab it. And it just sort of blends right in between that area of the lightness and where your contour starts to sort of fade down. So to me, this is just the way that I contour. It's super easy. You can't go wrong. You can use products that you've already have. You may not have like a brightening powder or anything like that, but definitely use your lighter concealers and a bronzer. It's just so easy, and you don't need a million different colors. You don't need a huge palette, although those are nice. You can just get this look very, very easily. So I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and it can become just a really easy part of your routine. So I hope that y'all enjoy it, and I will talk to y'all very soon. Bye.